So I decided to make this short little travel guide to Horseshoe Canyon. So to get there from Hanksville is about an hour and 15 minutes, but there's other ways to get there. But most of that is driving up a very rough dirt road. So I would definitely recommend bringing a decent vehicle that rides nice. So the parking lot is right here, and the Blue John Big Drop is right here. It's a total of about, I want to say 11 miles one way. So when you start the hike, you kind of just walk straight across flat desert for about a half a mile until you get to where you can actually see down into the canyon. And from there the trail kind of winds around and finally puts you right up next to the canyon where you can see a big drop off into the canyon. Here's a picture of it right here. And then once you get to where you can see straight down into the canyon, the trail kind of winds around. And it's pretty flat the whole hike, other than right here you can see it's a pretty steep little descent down into the canyon, but it's pretty short. And then once you get into the canyon, you basically are just following a riverbed. Here you can see looking back up to that big drop that I just showed a second ago. Here's some snow that was in the riverbed when I was there. Here's a map of it. This is the high gallery, which is maybe a mile or so once you get into the canyon. There's several little pictograph galleries like this, but the second one is the Horseshoe Shelter, which is pretty much just right a little ways away from the high gallery. And then from there you soon get to the Alcove gallery, which is, as you can see in the picture here, it's a big alcove, which would be good for getting out of the rain. When I was there, it rained a little bit, but not too bad. You can see in this photo, raindrops are falling. And then this is me walking forward to give you some perception of the size of it. And there's a spot that's kind of up in the alcove that's a big flat area. It'd be a good place to camp if you're going to spend the night down in the canyon, but it's only a few miles from the parking lot. This is me standing looking down the canyon. And then this is me looking up the canyon. You can see it's a big flat spot that would get you out of the rain and the elements. So if you're going to camp in the canyon, this is a good spot to hang out. And there's a little pictograph wall that's inside of the alcove, you can see here. And if you look in this picture closely, you can see a baby chipmunk. So after the alcove, you go another couple miles, and eventually you get to the Great Gallery, which is the main part of the hike. It's about 3.5 miles in, and this is one of the biggest Indian pictograph walls, I believe, in Northern America, if not in the world. You can see in the photo here they're up on the wall quite a ways, but the tallest one is 9 feet tall, to give you an idea of the size of these pictographs. They're not just little sketches that are about as big as a piece of paper. Most of them are 3 or 4 feet tall. And this is the highlight. You can see all the way to the left is the tallest section, and that super tall guy that's standing in the middle of the screen right there is 9 feet tall. So they're definitely some pretty large pictographs. So from there you continue up canyon if you want to continue. The main hike goes to the Great Gallery and then back to the parking lot, which is about 7 miles. But when I did the hike, I wanted to go to the Big Drop, which is the end of Blue John Canyon, and we saw some wild horses or some wild mules. But from the parking lot to the Great Gallery is about 3.5 miles one way, but from the Great Gallery to the Big Drop is more like 7 miles, so you're actually only about 2/3 of the way there when you get to the Great Gallery. But there's a lot of cool things, like you can see right here where the river's washed out the sand, but there's no other pictographs as far as I know, or no other big destinations until you get to the Big Drop, which is where Aaron Ralston had to rappel after he was forced to cut his arm off. If you've read the book Between a Rock and a Hard Place or seen the movie 127 Hours, then you know the story. But the canyon just continues up, and you're basically following the riverbed. There's no trail, but the riverbed kind of continues straight, but you get to a couple of forks in the canyon. So if you're going to plan on going all of the way to the Big Drop, then you want to print up a map because you don't want to get lost taking a left when you should take a right or something. But this is the big drop right here. It's about a 70-foot rappel. If you do Blue John Canyon, you have to rappel down this. This is where I wanted to go to see where Aaron Ralston actually was forced to rappel, which is actually only a couple hundred feet from where he was forced to cut off his hand. Again, this is where the trail starts, and this is where the trail ends. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching.